How's it going, Stephanie?
Fine, I guess. This morning was kind of stupid though.
Well, I just want to start out, it's good to see you. I know it's been a week. Last week we were talking about the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. I didn't know if you've had time to go over any of that.
Yeah, kind of. I was able to look at it for a minute, I guess.
A minute. So can you tell me about what you got out of that?
Well, I think that the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse just kind of talks about different things that we bring into our relationships that might be harmful to our relationships. So, like, for me, I guess it would be maybe overspending, or when I get pissed off, like punching people in the face. Or when I don't take my medications, I guess that would be one. But that's not really my fault, but that would be considered one of them. So, and then I guess it's important once we recognize what they are to try to fix them so that our relationships aren't as shitty.
Okay. That's a very descriptive way of putting it. All right. So, I mean, that tells me, though, that you did more than just kind of read over it. It looks like you've actually kind of thought about it, and that's good.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Well, good. I'm glad you found it interesting. So with that being said, did you want to go over what you found, that worksheet that we kind of talked about last week, you know, the couple questions? You'd be willing to go over that right now?
Yeah, let me find mine. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. So the first question, the most destructive forces that I am at risk of bringing into my relationship. What was your answer to that question?
Well, I said one was violence, because I guess that's probably the most severe. Even though it's not really my fault, because people shouldn't be saying such stupid stuff, and I wouldn't have to punch them in the face, but they do, but I'm the one that could get in trouble for it. So I guess violence would be one. And then overspending is another one, because every time I overspend, we can't pay our bills, or I can't pay my part of the bills, and so then my boyfriend gets mad at me, and that makes things worse. And then another one was credit card debt. I think that has to go along with the overspending too, because I don't really make that much at my job, at the restaurant, and it makes me feel better to go buy things, so I just put it on a credit card, but then I don't have the money to pay it off. And then I guess the fourth one is not taking my medications. But that one's not really my fault either, because at the restaurant, the boss has me working all these crazy shifts, and so it's really hard to try to take my medications at the same time every day, and so sometimes I need to take them at night, but I don't, and sometimes I just end up forgetting for a couple days. But those would be my 4, I guess.
Okay. So let's start. You want to start back? I mean, it kind of sounds like the one that pops out the most to me would be like the violence. So you made mention that, you know, that people say stupid things. What kind of stupid things do people say that trigger your anger?
Like when my boyfriend says that, oh, well, you told me for the last 4 days that you were going to do the dishes, and you haven't done them. I mean, that makes me mad because I've been sick with a cold, and so why can't he just let me rest for a couple more days and I'll do the dishes? But he insists that I get them done because he said that I said that I was going to do them, and so it just pisses me off. And then he doesn't understand, and so I just kind of escalate and end up smacking him.
Okay. Do these times occur more often when you're on your medications, or?
No, not as much.
Not as much.
Mm-mm. More when I'm stressed out or when I'm not feeling good.
Can you tell me the difference that you feel when you're on your medication compared to when you're not?
I guess when I'm on them, I don't overreact as much, and I sleep a lot better.
Okay. Are those things that you would rather have, or is it, you know, with the anger, and you know that kind of gets back into your relationship with your boyfriend? And I know, you know, in the past you guys had struggled a lot, but he's been there for you the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so you've said in the past that you've really wanted to kind of make change and work towards, really showing appreciation back towards him. So staying on medication, and is this something you would rather feel, like the appreciation towards him?
I mean, I'd rather that the relationship be better.
Okay, so is it better than when we first started a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess.
So, with going kind of, the reason I was asking this question is because you use anger and wanting to hit, and so then you also made mention of the medication. So I was trying to get an idea of if your anger, if you become more angry when you're off the medications compared to when you're on the medications, and if you notice the difference at all.
Yeah, I guess I do get more angry when I'm off the medications
Okay.
than when I'm on them.
Then in the beginning, we kind of discussed, back a few weeks ago, as far as the medications that that your boyfriend is going to help you stay on a regimen, but it's ultimately up to you to make sure, even at work, I know with that varying schedule, that is very difficult. That kind of puts you in a difficult place.
I actually wrote that down on here. I wrote down about the medications that, for under the part where it says strategies that I can use to keep these forces out of my relationships.
Mm-hmm.
For what happens when I don't take my medications, I wrote down on here that my boyfriend was going to help me to monitor my medications. So he said that he was going to set a cell phone alarm on his phone, and that when it went off, he was going to send me a text message. So even if I'm at work, I have my phone. So that way when it's time to take my medications, he'll text me, and then hopefully I'll be able to remember. But we haven't started doing it yet, but I did write it down.
Okay. So how about the next goal? Would that be something that you would like to work on before our next session?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's a good goal. That's very observant. That's a great job. I'm glad to see you guys were doing that. So that was under strategies to reduce or eliminate the horsemen in your life to benefit me and my relationship. Okay. Were there any other ones that you wanted to talk about as far as strategies that came up throughout the week?
Well, I did get really mad and stressed out, and I decided to go to Macy's after I left the restaurant, after I got off my shift, and I went and I spent like $300 on our credit card and maxed it out. So things are kind of tense at home now because we were going to use that money for Christmas shopping. So
what was some of the skills we kind of discussed in the past as far as like when you decided you wanted to go do spinning? Because I understand that makes you feel better, and we all want to feel good about ourselves, and we have different coping skills, and it's not necessarily a bad one, but it kind of, we talked a little bit in the past about how that kind of puts you and your boyfriend, you guys, into a tight situation. So what were some of the skills that we talked about the last couple of weeks about is recognizing how you feel and how you were going to adjust to that feeling?
Well, I mean, I didn't think about it then, but now that I look back on it, I guess that I should have been able to notice that I was being triggered by stress, and I just kind of felt anxious and impulsive, and there's some other things that I could have done, like, I mean, I belong to the gym, that's just like 2 blocks away, so I guess I could have went to the gym instead. But...
Well, wasn't one of you were going to call your boyfriend when you felt the urge to make a lot of, go out and just kind of, what do they call that? I don't want to say spontaneous, but just going out and just to spend, to feel good. Wasn't one of the top ones you were like, I'm going to call my boyfriend right away?
Yeah,
Were you able to do that?
No, I didn't at that time.
You didn't? Were you aware that, beforehand, did you recognize, now thinking back, you said, you did a great job of explaining how you felt physically and just kind of walking yourself through that. Do you remember feeling that right then and there, though?
I mean, thinking back now, I can recognize it. It helps me most, I think, when I write stuff down. Like, when I look at the worksheet, I mean, when I see it written down in front of me, it's helpful for me. So I think maybe if I could write down what the skills were or the triggers, then it might help me to not go out and spend anymore. But I had that written down on the sheet too as one of the strategies, because for one of my other horsemen, I said that it was the credit card debt.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had that written down as one of the strategies to keep the forces out of the relationships, was to use the coping skills that we talked about.
Okay. Well, good. How much time do we have left?
It's 10 minutes.
All right.
Do you want to wrap it up or?
That's wrapped.
I think we're good.
All right.
Air fist pound because I'm sick. Yeah.
I don't know. That